Welcome to the stream. I won't try to make this too long before we dive into the game tonight. But if you're the astute viewer on either live, if you pay attention to live notifications on Twitch, which of course you can always watch, or if you're a person who watches the VODs on YouTube, which I know there are plenty of you guys there on YouTube watching the VODs. I hope you're enjoying it, whatever. The astute viewer would be like, hey, if you space out the streams and you're like, this one came out a bit sooner than the other ones normally do. I have, for Umineko, been keeping those mostly 2 Saturday day streams live, and then they end up getting obviously recorded, put up VODs, YouTube, whatever, a few days later. And so it's like usually like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever range. So then this one ends up like right now, not to break the streaming wall, because I mean, I don't really care. It's more as a joke I say this, but like, this is obviously again being streamed. I'm streaming this live on Twitch. It's being recorded, and it's gonna end up probably coming out, I think, Thursday or Friday. I forget which day. Probably Thursday, if I'm remembering the schedule correctly. So if you're watching this on the first day, it's on YouTube. It would be Thursday. But as I was saying, these streams normally I've been doing this series on Saturday days, just because it allows me, at least for like this past month has been able to allow me to kind of like do bigger chunks during the day on Saturday. And I've mentioned this on either this series or another one. Valkyria Chronicles, also on the channel, is also coming to a close soon. That might actually only have like one more stream to it, depending on how it gets broken up, and how the ending shapes up. But because that game is wrapping up, and also because this game obviously is a long one for me, especially as noted, and also just life outside of streaming, I don't want to start up like a whole nother big game for at least probably like a month or so, or at least this this calendar month, just because I've like vacation I'm going to be going away to. It's not conducive to starting up like another big game or something, especially when I've got Umineko and Disco Elysium going. So I say this all to say that opens for at least like the next like 2 or 3 weeks. More Umineko streams potential during the week. But the main reason I'm saying this, because I've reiterated that fact many times, so I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm just saying this because the energy might feel different. It's an inescapable thing. I work a day job. I've got a day job. I don't just stream, clearly, obviously. If I did just stream all day, I would be doing a terrible job at it. But I just want to say, obviously, I don't need to necessarily say this because it's whatever. It doesn't matter. But just to explain it, long day, and then it's nighttime on a weekday. I then have to get up early for the next day. Early-ish, I guess I should say. So if you feel like the energy feels different, that's just a fact of the matter. If the streams themselves, compared to like Saturday streams, are shorter, that's by design. Weeknight streams, I can really only commit to like 1 to 2 hours usually on a weeknight, just because I'm doing other things. I'm cooking myself food. I'm doing other things. I'm watching shit. I'm trying to catch up on news, whatever the case is. So by design, these streams are going to be shorter. So if that ends up being, again, a poorer watching experience, I'm sorry. But at the payoff to it is that then we're doing more Umineko. We're getting through the hours sooner. So I don't expect, the only thing that's going to be mostly noticeable, I would think, unless you're like really astute, you pick up on like mood difference or like energy difference, because I probably do just sound more tired, or if I've been talking slightly more throughout the day, maybe that's a thing. But yeah, the streams themselves, when they go up on archived on YouTube, the VODs on YouTube, they're going to be seeming shorter, and that's the case. So if you're like, oh fuck, only an hour and a half, I would say first get a throat lozenge to clear your voice. And then I would say, I'm sorry, but the weekend will come and we'll play a full, proper, several hours or so, whatever the Saturday streams had been mostly before. Does that make sense? I say this all. I don't know. Again, I was saying I don't necessarily need to say all that. But again, if you're completely new to the channel, I love to preamble about a lot of things. And I want to make decisions and things that I'm doing clear to everyone. Because at the end of the day, this is just a hobby of mine. Obviously, playing games, hobby for a lot of people. Me streaming them, another just hobby that people just do sometimes. But I want what I'm doing to make sense as well. Get the explanation, you know? Yeah, I'm making a hand gesture. You can't see it, but I'm making a hand gesture. So this is, again, I may, on weeknights, if we ever get to Umineko like tonight, it may only be for like an hour or so. So just, if you've been enjoying the more longer ones, it's okay. You can direct your hate towards me, send it into the universe, and then don't let me know about it. Or do let me know. I don't care. I'm old enough where I have thick enough skin where I don't. You can tell me you hate me for doing it. I don't know. It seems aggressive. I don't necessarily. I wouldn't agree with it. I wouldn't agree with your anger. But I will say that, you know what? It's fine. Bing bong. Bing bong. Go to the next. Why was I was like freaking out. Okay, so what happened last time? I guess Saturday, so 2 days ago. Big things. I would say the first, like, big thing, like, BIIIIG thing was happening. The best way I can put it is, like, not necessarily the game, like, Umineko itself, but the story's mystery is afoot. Like, the actual, like, oh, big thing is starting to take place. That's how I, like, the table has been set. That's how I'd put it. Kinzo has gone full, like, oh, fucking time. What does he call it? It's Devil's Roulette? Devil's Roulette? I want to say it's Devil's Roulette. Devil's Roulette in motion. The adults, they want the gold. Kids, I don't think they really care about the gold. I think they just want to hang out, which is kind of wholesome. We saw Maria get, I mean, I'll say it, abused by her mom. And I would say abused by her mom, the outside reason being the speech pattern thing. But I think it mostly was also lashed out. I was thinking about it over the last 2 days. I think just because the mom seems to be stressed. I think the mom is just generally stressed. Now, I'm not saying it's a good excuse, because if you watch the last part, you know, I kind of went into it and I was like, this sucks. Like, as a character trait, that sucks to take any physical action against your kid, honestly, in my opinion. But I think it wasn't just that. Although the seeds had been planted that, like, the kid had been doing that, you know, for a long time. The mom clearly didn't like that about her, her daughter. But I think the mom was just stressed, in general. So yeah, there's that. Things I've been thinking about are if it is like a rat race, if it ends up becoming like, oh, all these different groups are looking for gold, I don't know if it's going to necessarily evolve into that. But, oh, I just now realized it says episodes here. Like, it has the date, but it also says episode. So I'm still in episode 1. Okay. I guess there's that answer to everyone's question. What episode are you on? And I'm like, I don't know. 1. Apparently still. I'm curious what the servants do, if they form like a group, or do they like split up. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, oh, Shannon, she wants to find gold, and she goes with the kids, because she already has like an allegiance, it seems, to like Battler and them. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking of it too hard, I don't know, or too plainly even. Also, I want to say I think I've done mostly every stream. I've done like trying to recap what has happened in the last stream. That's mostly for my benefit, I must say. I've mentioned before, I have bad memory. I'm trying to actually recall before we hop in, so we kind of just go. Just helps me recall everything to the best of my ability. Okay, so it is raining. We're in a very heavy, I was going to say like weather system, but that doesn't sound right. We're in a very stormy setting. Is that good? A stormy setting. Stormy setting. Also, I am looking at the timer, the recording. We're just about to hit 11 minutes, and I'm just now getting into the game. So I'm sure that's frustrating you. Yes, you viewer who get frustrated by things that shouldn't frustrate you. And also, I guess there's probably... I guess this is with any video, right? People that just skip through, like, by 10 seconds each until they see me actually loading into the game. It's a thing. It's a thing. I understand. Instead of ad reads, you don't get ad reads on my channel. You just get, like, incessant preambles to the actual main course. But that's just how I like to stream. Here we go. Gotta, also, weeknight. I gotta, like, get into, like, reading brain. Reading brain. Okay. The strange letter that the witch had entrusted to Maria wiped all memories of dinner from our minds. Maria was repeatedly barraged with questions by Aunt Rosa and the other parents. I'll adjust audio if I need to, it's easier for me to adjust once I hear them actually speaking. And became increasingly ill-tempered when they refused to believe her. If we had tried to butt in, they'd probably ignore us. Our parents were all stirred up, firing back and forth about the gold and the distribution of the assets, and completely forgetting that we were even there. I'd already guessed that they'd been talking like this in the shadows. But I hadn't thought they'd be so blunt. It gave all of us kids a considerable shock. Our parents suck ass. From what we could overhear, all the parents wanted more money as soon as possible. And for that reason, more than anything else, they want that money... Large amount of money? Whatever, I'm close enough. Back and forth about grandfather's inheritance. Back and forth about the distribution of the gold if it was found. About advance payments in cash. It was so despicable I could hardly bear to watch, even though one of them was my father. Looked like Jessica felt the same way. We left our seats without being asked to and went to hang out somewhere well away from our parents. I get it. Now I totally see why grandfather hates coming down for meals. Damn. I'm so disillusioned with our parents right now. All that about money and the inheritance. God, now that I said it, there was a what game was I playing? It had to have been like at least a year, probably 2 ago, that I was playing something. Oh, I might have been playing Dicey Dungeons. And there was someone on YouTube that was like, that made some comment about how the fact that I talk for like a few minutes before like the actual gameplay starts happening, like the way she had made it seem like she I hit the record button and then immediately just go right into the game and don't say anything. But it's like, I think I take feedback. I don't necessarily agree with it, obviously. I think I responded. I was just like, that's just not what my streams are. My streams are very slow, chill, and relaxed. I just talk. They are, for both the positives and negatives, some form of therapy for me. It just allows me to just like clear my brain of thoughts sometimes, you know? She didn't respond to that. which either meant she didn't care or she felt properly shut down. But I said it in a nice way. Don't think I'm not a mean person. I'm a very non-mean person. Okay, I'm so disillusioned with our parents right now. All of that about money and the inheritance. How can they act like that right in the open? Well, I'm already completely disillusioned with my old bastard. I was literally gonna say the same thing like 2 screens ago, where I was like, he was talking about how like, oh, even my dad, and then it's like, he was like, well, you already hate him. There's no way I could think any worse of him. That's funny. That's exactly the same for me. Still, that freaking shocked me. Shocked me to the core. Jessica looked down at the floor, irritated. She was always talking about how bad her parents were, but maybe she hadn't really felt that way deep inside. The depths of Jessica's shock made that clear. You're all minors being supported by your parents, so you might not understand. But getting money is neither a simple nor a pretty thing. Oh god, he's gonna be like all about oh yeah, the parents wanting to squabble over money is a good thing. Like we're just in this part and last part, I'm afraid we're saying like George unfortunately taking a turn that I don't like as a character. How upsetting. He's too mature. I won't try to force you to understand right now, since you're still kids. But even so, I want you to realize that your parents are just doing their best in their own way. Oh, great. George and Iki's gotten all mature. George Nissan, I know you're working hard as a full-fledged member of society. Yeah, Jessica, yeah. But does that mean you turn into a shameless, greedy vulture like our parents whenever you start talking about money and assets? If it were only for my own benefit, then no, I wouldn't want to do that. However, when your family and your employees, your subordinates and their families are all counting on you, there are some times when you must fight. I hate that kind of fight. That back and forth about grandfather's inheritance just makes me want to puke. Jessica pretended to spit violently. That harsh reaction made the depths of her pain very clear. Let's stop talking about this. All this about grandfather's hidden gold, property, and inheritance is our parents' problem, not ours. I agree. At the very least, I think children have a duty to be considerate and stay out of their parents' way when they're talking together. Sounds pretty boring. Everyone knows the phrase adults are filthy, but we had now seen that for ourselves, and that really did give us a considerable shock. George and Iku is now pretty much an adult. I'd already been disillusioned with my dad, so the shock wasn't that big for us. But Jessica seemed to be taking it hard. Apparently, she'd received a bigger blow than I thought. She always talks badly about her parents, but it looks like she hadn't changed at all on the inside. Even now, she's still a pure-hearted, delicate person who can't doubt others. I'm sure she respected her parents as much as anyone else does. And then her parents started raging about going, money, money, inheritance, my money! Right in front of all the other parents and the children. It's no surprise she received such a shock from hearing that. Jessica-chan.
どうかお父さんとお母さんのことを嫌いにならないで。
Please don't start hating your mother and father.
理解しろとまでは言わないから、せめてどうか嫌いにならないであげて。
I won't ask you to understand them, but at least don't hate them.
わかってるよ。少し放っておいてくれよ。
I get it, just leave me alone for a bit. 6 years ago, I would have kept taunting Jessica even after she got all dejected. But I guess I really have grown over the last 6 years. I realize it'd be better to leave Jessica alone right now. Jessica suddenly looked away sulkily. Sulkily? I'm sure that's a word, but I'm originally being like sulkily. Sulkily. And left the parlor. I already did the bit where I learned a new word in Disco Elysium. I can't do it again. I can't reuse the same bit. She probably wanted to be alone for a while. I could do nothing but wordlessly watch her back as she left.
そういえばマリアちゃんはどこに行ったんだろう。
Come to think of it, I wonder where Maria-chan went.
多分まだ肖像画の前でいじけてるんだろうぜ。
She's probably pouting in front of the portrait. Maria truly looked up to the witches, and she'd expected that coming in direct contact with Beatrice and receiving the letter was proof. It would surprise everyone and make them happy. However, the adults had doubted its authenticity, thoroughly bombarding Maria with questions and refusing to accept her story. Even for me, it wasn't that hard to imagine how much that must have hurt Maria. We couldn't speak to Maria or Jessica. In the end, George, Nikki, and I just abandoned ourselves to the sound of the falling rain in the dark night.
台風はどんな感じなんだろうね。
I wonder what's happening with that typhoon.
ニュースをやってないかな。
Maybe there's something about it on the news? George and Nikki started walking over to the corner of the parlor where the television was. He hadn't called me over, and I really couldn't have cared less, where the typhoon was on the sea now. So without going over to the television, I loitered around the window.
そんなに風は出てなさそうだけど、海の上はひどいのかしらね。
The wind hasn't picked up that much here, but I wonder if it's horrible over the sea.
天気予報では暴風警報も聞いてたんだけど。
I did hear about a severe storm warning on the weather report.
キリエさんか。
Ah, Harry-san.
大人たちの積もる話はどんな感じなんすか？
I take it those big talks between the adults are going smoothly, yeah? She seemed to catch the sarcasm. Harry-san shrugged.
この胃の痛くなる話は徹夜で続くのかしら。
I wonder if that stomachache of a discussion will continue all night.
嫌になるわ。
It's not going to be fun.
まあせいぜいよろしく。じい様の財産分配についてハゲタカごっこをお楽しみくださいってんだ。
Well then, please enjoy playing vultures to grandfather's property as much as you'd like.
最低の気分だぜ。
I feel sick.
それに関しては同感よ。
I'll agree with you on that.
バトラ君みたいに席が外せるなら、私もそうしたいわ。
If I could just slip away like you, I'd do it.
でもそうもいかない。
Unfortunately, I can't.
たとえ発言権がなくてもね。
Even if I'm not allowed to speak.
パートナーも大変よ。
We spouses have it pretty rough too. Kairi-san took a deep breath, smiling bitterly. That's right. They probably wouldn't let Kairi-san speak, since she only married into the family. Still, as Dad's partner, she's had no choice but to stay by his side and support him. She's probably hard to bear the full brunt of this mental pressure much more than me. She's probably had to bear the full brunt. I wasn't going to apologize, but realizing that I'd spoken too harshly, I cut the sarcasm for the time being.
どんな感じなんすか？
So how does it look?
相変わらず謎の魔女ベアトリーチェの話題で持ちきりですか？
Are they still stuck on the topic of the mysterious witch, Beatrice?
まあね。
More or less.
あの人たちは、おじい様が亡くなった時の遺産分配について、兄弟4人で話をまとめようと、 ずっと密約を重ねてきた。
Those four siblings are always piling up secret agreements when they come together to discuss the division of grandfather's inheritance.
そこへ未知の5人目が現れて話をややこしくしようっていうんだから、穏便な話のわけもないわ。
They're saying that some unknown fifth person has appeared and is trying to make things even more complicated. There's no way that'll make for a peaceful conversation.
互いを罵り合ったり、かと思えば共闘しようってことになったり。
Just when you think they're snarling at each other, they'll set up a common front.
夏日姉さんでなくても頭痛がしてくるところよ。
Natsuhi-Nisan's not the only one getting headaches. On the one hand, they all want a larger portion than the other siblings, so they're all rivals. But on the other hand, they don't want 1 yen to be snatched up by anyone other than the siblings, so they're also all allies. I hadn't been told the details, but the siblings were apparently discussing how to protect their shares under various situations. Setting up excuse me. Oh, dude, another... I mean, I don't want to be, like, gross, but, like, another reason why, like, weeknight streams are gonna feel different, maybe. I try to keep it to a minimum, but it's usually, like, an hour or so after I've, like, made myself dinner and eaten. And depending on, like, what I eat, maybe it hasn't, like, digested fully, like, all the way. You know what I mean? So I'm, like, coming into the stream with, like, a full stomach or something like that. It's just, like, you know, a long day at work. A long day sitting at a computer for work. Energy drained. Then I'm looking at more monitors to do the streams, you know? It's tough. That's sarcasm. I have to point out sarcasm, so everyone knows if it's not coming across. So yeah, the energy is just, it's different. I noticed the energy being different on, like, of course, weeknight streams. That's why, like, I fail at it generally. Like, I don't keep like a strict schedule. But, like, even before, like, Umineko and all these different things, like, the idea always was, like, okay, I can tackle longer form things and, like, different vibes of games better on, like, weekends when I just have a lot more free time and I'm not coming in, like, tired from the day and have just eaten, you know? But that's kind of harder to do when I only want to play, like, at most, like, 3 or 4 games at a time on the channel, so there's only so many things you can choose, right? Setting up, let's see, what did I read? Setting up ceasefire agreements and rules to prevent anyone from getting an unfair advantage, even preparing to resort to legal action if absolutely necessary. That they would go this far to preserve their shares was so beyond disgusting that you just had to acknowledge their resilience.
ってことは、差し詰め。
So, basically...
ベアトリーチはじいさまからの資格ってとこですかね。
Beatrice is like an assassin sent by grandfather.
自分抜きで遺産の分配なんて話を勝手に進めてた息子たちに一泡吹かせたかったんだろうぜ。
He probably wanted to scare the hell out of his children for talking about the inheritance without him.
何者かしらね。
Oh,
ベアト
babbler.
リーチェって。
You are so funny. Who is this Beatrice, I wonder?
自称してることが全て本当なら、
Oh, we
今
got
日
some
まで
heavy
誰にも
winds.
知られずにいた謎の人物で、しかもおじいさまの隠し黄金の存在を知っていて。
If everything she claims is true, then she's a mystery figure that no one knew about until today. And she also knows about grandfather's hidden gold.
その上当主の指輪まで委ねられている。
On top of that, she was even entrusted with the head's ring.
相当に信頼された人物ね。
She must truly have been trusted by him.
さすがにほうきにまたがった魔女だとは思わないっすけど。
Well, obviously I don't think she's a witch riding around on a broom.
でも魔女と呼ぶに値する怪人物であることは間違いないっすね。
But there's no doubt she's a mysterious person who's earned the right to be called a witch.
マリアちゃんがそのあたりのことを詳しく話してくれればいいのだけど。
If only Maria-chan would go into more detail about that.
みんな小さい子にがっつきすぎだわ。
Everyone's been smothering her, even though she's just a little girl.
すっかり怯えてしまって、聞けるものも聞けなくなってしまった。
They really scared her, and some things they might have asked now can't be asked.
あの人たち、北風と太陽とか読んだことないのかしら。
I wonder if those people have ever even read The North Wind and the Sun.
確かなのはマリアがベアトリーチェと名乗る人物から手紙を受け取ったこと。
What we do know is that Maria received a letter from a person who took the name Beatrice.
自分で現れて直接話せばいいものを手紙を託して今もどこかに身を潜めているっていうシャイな怪人物ですけどね。
She sure is shy for a mystery person, entrusting Maria with a letter and hiding away even now, when she could have just appeared and talked to us directly.
ねえバトラ君、
Hey, Badler-kun,
ベアトリーチェなんて人物が本当にいると思う？
do you really think a person called Beatrice actually exists?
さあ、
Who knows?
あくまでも偽名じゃないっすかね。
Doesn't it really seem like a false name?
じい様の代理人としてその妄想の中の魔女の名を名乗ることを許されたとか。
Like she's grandfather's representative, so she was given permission to take the name of the witch from his delusions?
そうじゃなくて、
No, that's not what I meant.
今この六軒島には全部で18人いるの。
Right now, there's a total of 18 people here on Rokenjima.
19人目が存在すると思う？
Do you think there's a 19th person? Okay, these are the 18 people. These are the 18 people. What, if Beatrice goes right here? Beatrice goes... I'm still... There's a part... I mean... people have already know the story. I still feel like this is going to be a thing, and I'm going to keep saying it. The mysterious husband. This has to be a plot point. I'm not saying he's going to appear, but it's got to be a big plot point, I would think. Alright, 18 people. These are the 18 people. Okay, do you think there's a 19th person? Are there really a full 18 people on this island right now? Oh my god, Battler, come on! Wondering about that, I began counting my fingers, and it really did come out to that many.
19人目が存在すると思うって。
Do I think that a 19th person exists?
どういう意味ですか？
What exactly do you mean?
言葉通りの意味よ。
Just what I said.
マリアちゃんに傘を貸した人物は私たち18人の中にはいないらしい。
The person who lent Maria that umbrella supposedly wasn't one of us 18.
なら19人目がいて、その人物がマリアちゃんに傘を貸したと思うのが妥当じゃない？
So isn't it natural to assume that a 19th person exists? That this person lent Maria the umbrella?
ま、そうなりますね。
Well, yeah, it sure looks that way.
ならその人物は今どこにいるの？
Then, where exactly is this person now?
少なくとも雨が降り出した瞬間には島にいた。
At the very least, she must have been on the island when it started raining.
そしてその後はどんどん天気が悪化して、とても船なんか出せない状態。
And ever since that time, the weather has grown progressively worse, so taking a boat out would be pretty much impossible.
となれば、その人物はまだ島の中にいて、どこかで雨宿りをしていなくてはならない。
Do we get to go on a witch hunt? We get to go find her? In that case, that person must still be on the island, hiding from the rain somewhere.
私たち誰の目にも触れずね。
And without any of us spotting her.
確かに。俺たちは屋敷やゲストハウスの中を勝手にうろつき回ってましたが、誰も19人目なんかには会ってないわけですよね。
True, we've all been randomly prowling around all over the mansion and the guest house, but no one has ever bumped into a 19th person.
でもまあ、これだけの広さのある島ですし。
But this island is huge.
屋敷やゲストハウス以外に雨宿りできるところだってあるのかも。
There might be other places to take shelter from the rain, other than the mansion and the guest house. At about this time, I begin to realize what direction Kairi-san's suspicions were taking us in. Kairi-san was denying that a 19th person existed. Beatrice was one of us 18. In other words, she thought someone we knew well was tricking us.
ベ
Huh.
アトリーチェが自称する通りなら
What a
その
claim.
人物は間違いなく最高の賓客よ。
So like a hidden role? Like a hidden role game? You know, like that popular video game that you know all the kids talking about? Sus Among Us? I thought like a better joke would develop, but I couldn't think of anything. Nothing was materializing. That would be interesting if there wasn't an actual Beatrice, but that was just like someone going under the name Beatrice. Weirdly, like I didn't even consider that as an option up until now, maybe. Hidden Beatrice. If Beatrice is who she claims, she would surely be the most honored of guests.
おじいさまが信頼する最高の腹心。
The most honored of confidants, trusted by grandfather.
そんな人物をおじいさまが歓待しないわけがない。
There's no way grandfather wouldn't give that kind of person a warm reception.
お屋敷に迎え入れないわけはないのよ。
She would surely have been ushered into the mansion.
でも私たちは誰も見ていない。
However, we haven't seen anyone like that.
待ってくださいよ。それはちょいと請求な推理じゃないですか？
Wait a sec, isn't this line of reasoning a bit too hasty?
確かに誰の目にも触れてはいないけれど、だからって19人目を否定することにはならないんじゃないですか？
Sure, no one spotted this person, but that doesn't mean that you can deny the possibility that a 19th person exists, right?
何かの理由があってこっそり上陸してずっと隠れているのかも。
Maybe, for some reason, they landed on the island stealthily and have been hiding ever since.
悪魔の証明ってやつっすよ。
It's what they call a devil's proof.
いることを証明するのはたやすい。
It's easy to prove that something exists.
ベアトリーチェってやつが俺たちの前に現れて挨拶すりゃ解決する。
If this Beatrice appears in front of us all and says hi, then it's settled.
でも19人目がいないことを証明するのは不可能っすよ。
But it's impossible to prove that there's no 19th person. Yes.
バトラ君の推理の仕方は悪くないわ。
Butler-kun, your way of reasoning isn't bad.
現在の状況では19人目の存在を認めるにも否定するにも情報が足りない。
In our current situation, there isn't enough information to either accept or deny that a 19th person exists.
でもね、チェス盤をひっくり返して考えるとほぼ19人目はありえないって断言できちゃうのよ。
But if you spin the chessboard around and think that way, we can deny the existence of a 19th person with near certainty. Spin the chessboard around was one of Kairi-san's favorite phrases. Oh, Kairi's got a catchphrase? Ah. I too wish I had a catchphrase that was well known enough in my family. I mean, if you ask friends, they'd probably just say my catchphrase like, sorry, sorry, sorry. I've been influenced by those words and use them myself from time to time. When you get stuck trying to find a move in chess or shogi, then by spinning the board around and looking at everything from your opponent's standpoint, you can often see a strategy that'll give you the upper hand. It means turning things around and putting yourself in your opponent's shoes.
いい？
You see?
仮に19人目の人物としてベアトリーチェが実在したとして、
Let's say that a 19th person called Beatrice actually exists.
その人物は誰にも知られることなくこっそりとこの島に上陸しずっと隠れていた。
That person must have managed, without being seen by anyone, to stealthily arrive on this island and remain hidden ever since.
何かの理由があってね。
Maybe they had some reason, okay?
ならどうしてわざわざ姿を現してマリアちゃんに手紙を渡したの？
In that case, why did they go to all the trouble of appearing before Maria and handing her the letter? It really was a contradiction. If they had some reason for hiding themselves, then they should have stayed hidden the whole time. But even so, they had appeared openly, I thought it was going to be openly, they had appeared openly in front of Maria.
それは
Then,
ほらマリアも言ってた。
Wait, Maria said it herself.
メッセンジャーにされたって言ってたじゃないですか。
She said the witch made her a messenger.
マリアが一番年下で素直そうだったからじゃ。
Maybe that's because Maria was the youngest and looked the most obedient.
メッセンジャーなんて必要なの？
Why would they need a messenger?
手紙を親族会議の席上に送りたかったら郵送すればいいだけの話よ。
If they just wanted a letter delivered to the family conference, they could have mailed it.
4人の兄弟全員に郵送すれば黙殺することもできない。
If they mailed it to each of the 4 siblings, no one would be able to ignore it. No, it's because Maria believed. She was a believer. The witch Beatrice only reveals herself to the believers. It's a commentary.
手紙を持参し
I
て
have no idea what I'm
こっ
saying.
そり手渡す理由がないのよ。
There's no need for this person to carry it themselves and secretly deliver it by hand.
確かに。
Yeah,
なんだかおかしな話っすね。
that does sound pretty weird.
そもそもベアトリーチェが存在していてその存在をアピールしたいならみんなの前に堂々と姿を現せばいいだけの話。
In the first place, if Beatrice existed and wanted to make her presence known to everyone, then she could have just openly presented herself to all of us.
なのに現れずマリアちゃんという小さな子を通しておぼろげな輪郭だけでその存在を主張しようとする曖昧さ。
Despite that, she chose the vague method of appearing through a little girl called Maria-chan and only gave us a vague impression of who she was.
矛盾。
Contradiction.
もっと考えて。
Let's go a little deeper, shall we?
マリアちゃんの前に姿を現し19人目の存在を印象づけるという点とにもかかわらず
She appeared in front of Maria, trying to give us the impression that a 19th person existed, and yet,
今この瞬間も私たちの前に姿を現さず隠れ続けている点。
she still hasn't appeared before us and is hiding somewhere at this very moment.
これらの矛盾。
Think about those contradictions.
これを念頭に置いた上でチェス盤をひっくり返すの。
You've got to keep these things in mind when you spin the chessboard around.
つまり19人目の人物としてベアトリーチェがいると印象づけたい人物の目論見は何かよ。
In short, if a person wants to leave us with the impression that Beatrice exists as the 19th person, what might their goal be?
姿を隠したい人物なら、その存在をアピールするわけがない。
If this person wanted to hide, then they wouldn't have made their presence known.
そして、姿を現したい人物なら、手紙を託すなんて遠回しをするわけがない。
And if they wanted to show themselves, they wouldn't have used the roundabout approach of entrusting someone with a letter.
ってことは、
Which means
簡単よ。
it's simple. Beatrice, she's just a trickster, or she just loves fucking with people. Can we accept that? Can I submit that as my answer? Beatrice is a witch who just loves playing pranks and fucking with people's minds. And then yeah, that's what I'm going to submit as my final answer.
ベアトリーチェは18人の中にいるのよ。
Kyrie doesn't agree with me. Beatrice is one of the 18 people.
だからこそ18人以外の人物が存在するような幻想を作り出しているのよ。
That's why they want to create the illusion that there are more than 18 people.
これ見よがしな19人目のアピール。
The 19th person was revealed so spectacularly.
それで得をするのは姿を潜めた19人目じゃない。
If someone were to profit from this, it wouldn't be some 19th person in hiding.
すでにいる18人の方なのよ。
It'd be one of the original 18 people.
もちろんこの推理は穴だらけ。
Of course, this reasoning is full of holes.
いくつかの前提がひっくり返るだけですぐに崩れる脆いものだけど、
If you turn over even a few of its premises, it'll simply fall apart.
私はほぼ間違いないと見てるわ。
But I'm almost completely certain it's correct. This is starting to feel pretty creepy. Someone lent Maria the umbrella and handed her the letter. Supposedly, none of the 18 did this. And yet, Beatrice was hidden among those 18. I can't tell if this game is setting this up as a theory to really, start opening up on the potential of it, or to really just be a red herring. But then, let's say, what if it's if Beatrice is one of the 18, then like, is it like a Jekyll and Hyde situation where it's like almost like a split personality, and it's like, you know, that like at random moments they just slip into like Beatrice personality? That would be exciting. Maybe. And yet Beatrice was hidden among those 18. What was this person planning, hiding their true form and pretending to be Beatrice?
マリアちゃんの自作自演も疑ったんだけど、文章の内容が非常に手が込んでて、マリアちゃんが自前で用意したとは考えがたい。
No, I figured out Battler. Battler is Beatrice. Battler is Beatrice. They both begin with a B. It's as simple as that. I suspected it might have been Maria-chan play acting, but the contents of the message were extremely complicated. It's hard to imagine Maria-chan writing that herself.
でも、マリアちゃんが何者かと共謀している可能性も否定できないわ。
However, I can't deny the possibility that Maria-chan is working together with someone.
おいおい、マリアは9歳のお子様だぜ。
Wait a sec. Maria's a 9-year-old kid, right?
誰と何を共謀するってんだよ。
What could she possibly be planning? With whom?
しかも愚直で真面目で素直なあの性分だぜ。
And what about her straightforward, overly honest, obedient nature?
ええ、私もマリアちゃんの性分はよく理解しているわ。
Yes, I also understand what kind of a person Maria-chan is.
でも、だからこそあり得ると思うの。
But that's exactly why I think it's possible.
魔女に憧れ、その存在を盲信している夢見がちな少女。
That girl's a dreamer who can't help but look up to and blindly accept the existence of witches.
そこにベアトリーチェと名乗る人物が現れて魔女だと名乗ったら、彼女はそれを大喜びで鵜呑みにして信じるんじゃないかしら。
So if a person appeared in front of her and claimed to be the witch Beatrice, Maria-chan would happily swallow it up, I think.
つまりあの肖像画のごついドレスを着て変装すればマリアを騙すことは難しくないと。
So you're saying that if someone disguised themselves by wearing that fancy dress from the portrait, tricking Maria wouldn't be that hard?
その論法になっちゃうと、私たち女性陣はみんな疑われちゃうことになるんだけどね。
Of course, with that reasoning, all of us women would become the primary suspects.
とにかくマリアちゃんが何者に出会ったのか、
Anyway, who did Maria-chan encounter?
それの詳細を聞くことがこの謎を解く一番にして最も身近な鍵なのよ。
Learning the details of the question would be the best key to solving this riddle.
しかしその鍵は少女の心の奥に頑なに閉ざされてしまったわ。
But this key has been firmly locked away inside Maria-chan's heart.
みんなが頭ごなしに魔女の存在を否定し、一体その人物は誰なのかと問い詰めすぎた。
Everyone denied the existence of the witch without listening to her, barraging her too much with questions about who Beatrice actually was.
マリアちゃんは当分大人には心を開かないでしょうね。
She probably won't open her heart to the adults now. As she shouldn't, I say. In the dim hall in front of the portrait of Beatrice, Maria was sobbing. Ooh. Ooh.
誰もね、マリアがベアトリーチェに会ったことを信じてくれない。
No one believes I met Beatrice. Cry. Cry.
ベアトリーチェとくれた手紙も見せたのに、それでも信じてくれないの。
Even though I showed them the letter Beatrice gave, they still don't believe. Heh.
とにかく鍵はマリアちゃんが握ってるわ。
Anyway, Maria-chan... we fade up to black. Away from black. Anyway, Maria-chan's holding the key.
ベアトリーチェが18人の中にいるのか、19人目なのか、 それを知る鍵よね。
The key to whether Beatrice is one of the 18 people or a 19th person.
マリアは頑固だぜ。
Maria's stubborn, right?
あいつ、へそを曲げるとなかなか機嫌を直さないからな。
When that girl gets angry, it's pretty hard to make her feel better.
大人の私より子供のバトラ君の方が機嫌を直せる確率は高そうよ。
Okay, I just had a thought. And it's one of those things where, like, it's like a prediction. And so is it fun for me to actually make big predictions? Or should I keep them to myself in the case that, again, someone watching this for the first time with me wouldn't want me to maybe speculate like this? Because this is the way it's being brought up that, oh, maybe one of us 18 people is Beatrice. But, and this is just a guess. Because if I'm correct about my theorizing here, if I pulled this out of my ass, and there's gonna be people like, you fucking know things, and I'm gonna be like, no, I don't know anything. Come on, that's not fun for me. It's not fun for anyone. But in the one of these characters that we know, I think very little about, but like interests me, and now that you bring up the potential that they, if we're to believe this is true, this still could be a red herring, but if I'm to believe that there's a potential 18th person, or one of the 18 here is secretly Beatrice somehow, like takes on the role of Beatrice, either as a joke, as a jape, intentionally, is Beatrice and hiding as one of these 18 people, whatever the case or circumstance is. And if I also look at the painting of Beatrice, then of these 18 people, the one that would maybe interest me the most is Natsuhi. And I only say that because a woman, so it's like I'm playing Guess Who, you know, that the little board game Guess Who, and you put down the pictures of like, oh, are they wearing glasses? No, and you put down the pictures. She's a woman. That eliminates like 50% of the people, right? Also an adult, so then takes out like Maria. Maria also would be taken out because she said she met Beatrice, right? But if I wanted to get more on like a granular level, I would say we know very little about her. I feel like compared to all the other adults, like especially if we're talking about the different couples here, like these four we know quite a bit about because they're the direct children to him. Kyrie, we've had some time with. He's the lighthearted guy, and then she's always like tired or has a headache or something. And that's the other thing I was gonna mention, the headache thing. Is that like early talking about like, again, if it's like a Jekyll and Hyde situation, like planting an early seed of like, oh, she has split personality, or she has multiple personalities, or even she has, or if it's more sinister than that, if this is Beatrice, actual Beatrice, playing the role of Natsuhi, somehow, explain it however you want in your own head, and she like, and then she just acts like she's tired or has a headache and doesn't want to talk because that makes it easier for her to like slip out if she had to. And also, I don't remember exactly, and this I could be wrong about because I'm just not remembering, but like, if I'm trying to think timeline-wise, when Maria was outside, these people were arguing. But I don't think we saw a lot of Natsuhi, right? Or was she there and just mostly quiet? I don't remember exactly. But here's the thing. This is me just guessing. I could be so right, or I could be so wrong, and I just get laughed at, which is fine. But also, I say all the guessing because I think it's funner to theorize about things, especially with a mystery kind of like this kind of game. I think it's funner for me to like theorize and try to guess along while it's going. but even as I explain it, it makes sense to me, but there also would have to be some things cleared up for me to be like on board with that theory. I don't know. Man, if I'm wrong, now I'm just going to be thinking about that though. Cuz they're bringing up one of the 18 is essentially has this hidden role. It's the whole classic hidden role type thing. And if they're bringing that up and then it doesn't actually come to fruition, that seems like a waste of time, almost. So, like, if I'm designing a story, like, to bring up a possibility and then it just be discarded. I mean, I'll shut up now, though. I should probably just read. I'm just lengthening this thing, I guess. Badlerkin, I think a kid like you would be better at cheering her up than an adult like me.
彼女の機嫌が治ったら聞いてみて。
After she's feeling better, try asking.
遺産分配がどうのこうのって話には関心ないけど、
I know you don't care about all this back and forth about the inheritance,
こんな王道洋館ミステリーみたいなシチュエーションにはワクワクしちゃわない？
but don't you find this Western mansion mystery situation exciting?
マリアちゃんに手紙を渡した人物は一体誰なのか。
Who in the world is this person who gave Maria-chan the letter? Or, if we're going with my theory that Beatrice loves fucking with people and she's a trickster type person, if Kairi is saying... Kairi's also next to Natsui-san? Natsuhi? Natsui-san. She's probably the second person that we don't know that much about. I feel like she's pretty mysterious. She seems kind of cloaked in mystery. What if she's setting the seed? I've said like planting or setting the seeds now like 10 times this stream, but like if she's planting this in him and planting the theory just so that later on she reveals, oh yeah, it was fucking me this whole time, you idiot, you know? Much to ponder. Much to ponder.
知的好奇心がうずくわ。
It makes your intellectually curiosity ache.
うんざりするような金の話に付き合わされてもワクワクとは実にタフなことだぜ。
You're actually pretty tough considering you're still excited after being dragged through that endless money talk.
大人はすげえや。
Adults can be pretty amazing. I shrugged exasperately. But I did notice something. Kairi noticed how dejected I was after overhearing our parents' turbulent discussion, and was probably trying to clean the air. At the very least, I'd recovered enough to voice my complaints. She wasn't my real mother, so I've never felt like calling her mom. But it did make me think she's a real adult.
Oh, ガキども、ここにいたのか。
Hey, brats, so this is where you were.
キリエも長え化粧直しじゃねえか。
What a jackass this guy is. Could you imagine, like, your dad coming in and referring to his son and his new wife like, hey, you brats? Couldn't be my dad. Kairi, you really took your time fixing your makeup, didn't you?
俺も次からは化粧をしてくることにするぜ。
Think I'll make a habit of going out to touch up my makeup too. He's got, like, the personality of, like, those dudes you knew in high school whose life peaked in high school. That's him. I found him. He's that man.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry.
女の化粧は長いのよ。
A woman's makeup takes a long time.
どう？
So,
兄弟水入らずの話し合いは。
how has the discussion been without me?
さぞや和気あいあいとしてるだろうよ。
I'm sure everything was all peaceful and harmonious. Harrison poked the weak spot under my arm with her elbow.
一度頭を冷やそうってことで小休止さ。
We decided to take a break to cool our heads a little.
こりゃ夜通しになりそうだぜ。
It looks like we'll be at it all night.
泣けてくれ。
Makes me want to cry. His way of talking hadn't changed, but he couldn't completely hide his fatigue. I couldn't say I was sympathetic, but he looked pitiful compared to his normal, energetic self.
しかしひでえ雨だな。
Still, that rain's just awful.
ゲストハウスに戻るのも嫌になるぜ。
I really don't want to go back to the guest house.
夏日姉さんが屋敷で泊まれるよう準備してくれたらしい。
It looks like Natsuhi-Nissan set things up so we could spend the night here in the mansion.
どうする？
What do we do?
3階になった時に考えてもいいんじゃない？
Let's bust out the VHS tapes and boggle. Let's hang out as a family. It's like when you go to like a vacation house and then it starts raining. Like I'm familiar with that feeling. Like as a family, like old like family vacations. Then you get a place and then it's like you're gonna like go out and explore wherever you went. And it just rains. And you're like, well, like I'm envisioning like you rent a place. You rent I guess I've never done it, but I assume it's like the same as like people renting it like Airbnb. Do people still do that? I knew Airbnbs like over the last like couple years have been getting like really shit on. I feel like the process, like it should have been a cool concept, but then like people who rented out their place as Airbnbs, I think just ended up, as far as I understand the process, took advantage of it. Like renters, like the people that wanted to rent an Airbnb, took the not the renters, but the people loaning out their place took advantage too often. And then it just ended up sucking the system. Or did the pandemic kill Airbnb? Now that I think about it, maybe? I have no idea. I just don't know anyone who's rented an Airbnb in a while. I don't know. These are my thoughts. These are my Monday thoughts. We don't need to decide until you're done, right?
部屋に戻る体力もなくなってたら、その時はお世話になりましょうよ。
If you run so low on energy that you can't return to our room, then we can take them up on their offer.
そうだな。
You're right?
その時に考えりゃいいか。
We can think about it later.
バトラーはどうする？
What about you, Battler?
俺がいちゃお邪魔だろうからよ。
If I stayed, I'd just get in the way.
気使って向こうに戻るぜ。
I'll be nice and go back over there.
そうか。
I see.
すぐ戻るのか。
Will you go back soon?
さあな。
I don't know.
一人で戻ったって寂しいしよ。
It'd be lonely to head back by myself.
子供全員で揃って帰ることにするぜ。
I'll gather all the kids and we'll head out.
そうだな。
Okay.
そうするといい。
You go do that.
それで、バトラー。
Also, Battler,
お前、今夜はそうは簡単には寝ないだろう。
you won't be going to sleep that easily tonight, right?
多分、いとこたちとおしゃべりしてるだろうからな。
Yeah, I'll probably be up talking with the cousins.
夜更かししそうな気配はあるぜ。
Sounds like we'll be up all night.
それがどうかしたのかい？
Is there a problem with that?
そうか。
I see.
もし大人たちの会議が終わってお前がまだ起きてたらちょいと家族でしたい話があるんだ。
If you're still awake when the adults discussion is over, we'll have a little talk as a family.
なんだよ。
What?
柄にもねえな。
That doesn't sound like you. Apparently, Kairi-san was thinking the same thing. What are you talking about? She asked him in a small voice. It looked like Kairi-san didn't have a clue what Dad meant either.
キリエにも聞いてもらいたい話だ。
I also want to talk to you about it, Kairi.
後で話すから。
I'll tell you later.
聞くな。
Oh, I'll tell you later, so don't ask now.
頼む。
Please. Oh, it's that annoying thing when like someone's like, oh, I have an important thing to tell you, but I'll tell you later. They're like, oh, what happens to me is they go, remind me to tell you later. And then I'll be like, yeah, I'll remind you later. And then within like 5 minutes, I'll forget to remind them later. And that important thing that they meant to tell me, it's lost. It's lost to the wind. No one should ever ask me to remind them about an important thing later. It's not gonna work. It just won't work. Don't put that on me. Don't put it on me. I'll tell you later, so don't ask now, please. Okay. Question mark? I don't know anyone who neglects the concept of family as much as this old bastard. Every time I read old bastard, I have to say it just like that. Old bastard. And now he's saying we're going to have a talk as a family. Both Kairi-san and I couldn't help but get wide-eyed.
そうビビった顔すんなよ。
Don't look so terrified.
ビビりてえのは俺の方なんだ。
I'm the one who should be terrified.
何しろ。
After all? At that point, he swallowed his words for an instant. Even though putting on airs of importance wasn't much like my dad.
気持ち悪いぜ、親父。
You're freaking me out, Dad.
今家族は全員揃ってるじゃねえかよ。
Everyone in our family's gathered here now, right?
もったいぶらずに言えよ。
Don't make a big deal out of it and spit it out.
俺は多分
Tonight,
今夜
I will probably
殺されるだろうな。
be killed? What? There's a huge crash of thunder. How to be dramatic 101. It must have been really close. Dad's expression, brightly illuminated by the lightning, was burned into my eyes. Dad's face, which always looked so sure of itself and which always wore a taunting expression, was strangely frail, in a way I couldn't really explain. It was so worn out that he looked like a different person.
は
What?
何言ってんだよ、ガラでもね。
What are you talking about? That doesn't sound like you. Giggle.
同感よ。
I agree.
どうしたの？急に弱気ね。
What happened? You look so timid all of a sudden.
あなたらしくもない。
It's not like you.
俺も化粧直しに行ってくる。
I'm gonna go fix my makeup too.
ついてくんなよ。
Don't follow me. Dad turned away weakly. After that, only Kyra and I were left, still wide-eyed.
なんだってんだ。
What did he say?
今夜殺される？
Tonight, he'll be killed?
まさか。あの妙な手紙のせいで、親父ビビっちまったのか？
You don't think that mysterious letter scared him, do you?
連続殺人者の映画の見過ぎだぜ。
He's been watching too many serial murder movies. Fucking weird. I'm weird. Kairi-san didn't answer my lighthearted words and continued to stare at my dad's disappearing back.
バトラ君はルドルフさんに今話せと言ったら話さず立ち去った。
Battler-kun, when you told Rudolph-san to spill the beans right away, he left without telling us anything.
みんなに話すことがあると言い出しながら答えなかった。
Even though he said he had something to say to both of us, he didn't answer you.
どうして？
Why?
チェス盤をひっくり返す。
Spin the chessboard around. You know, that phrase I'm famous for and apparently always say in this family.
すると
What do you see?
話すと言っておきながら話せない矛盾。
Well, when he said he wanted to talk but then couldn't, that's a contradiction.
なんすかね。親父側から見ると何か見えてきますか？
What? Can you see something by looking from Dad's perspective? Giggle.
ええ、見えるわよ。
Yes, I can see something.
話したいことがある。
He wants to talk about something.
でも自分から言い出す勇気がない。
However, he doesn't have the courage to bring it up.
だから追ってきて俺に話しかけて聞き出してくれが正解ね。
So he actually means chase after me, talk to me, and ask me about it yourself. He wants to be wanted.
ついてくるなも逆の意味よ。
By saying don't follow me, he actually means the opposite. He's like that little crush you had in high school, who bullies you. And this means the opposite of everything they say. That's basically what Kyrie is trying to convince me right now.
ついてきて俺を問い詰めてくれが正解。
He actually means follow me and force me to answer.
まったく甘えん坊さんなんだから。
Seriously, what a spoiled brat.
いや、
What?
そういう推理でいいんすか？
Can you really call that reasoning?
そんなんめちゃくちゃな。
That's ridiculous.
名探偵や名刑事が男女の気持ちや心を推理できる？
Can great private and police detectives deduce the emotions and feelings between men and women?
できないでしょ？
They can't, right?
異性の気持ちを探るのは何次元のトリックを暴くよりはるかに高度な技術なのよ。
Figuring out the feelings of the opposite sex is an even more advanced art than exposing the tricks in difficult crime cases. I'm sorry, Kyrie, I'm going to call bullshit on that statement. That makes not only does that not make sense, I just don't think that's true. I think it's patently false. You're just saying things right now, Kyrie. I don't mind you as a character, Kyrie. I think you could be a good character, but that's just a weird thing to say. Like, that's like you're trying to say something like all thought out and like, ooh. Like, if I was talking with someone and they were like, figuring out the feelings of the opposite sex is an even more advanced art than exposing the tricks in difficult crime cases, I would look at that person in the eyes and be like, shut the fuck up, and then I'd just leave. I'd just be like, I'm out.
私に言わせれば名作推理小説より恋愛小説の方がよっぽど難解なミステリーなんだから。
I just envision like you're at like a random party and you're like talking to a stranger for like 10 minutes, and then like at the end of the 10 minutes they say that, and you're like, what? Huh? What? Huh? If you ask me, romance novels have much deeper mysteries than masterpiece mystery novels. I see.
そういうもんすかね。
Is that how it is?
私はあの甘えん坊さんと一緒にいるわ。
Alright, so mark it down in your notebooks. I've got a notebook for this game. Everyone watching, I'm sure you also have your notes and your notebooks. Note down, Kyrie loves to just talk about random shit. Sound like she's very philosophical almost. I'll stand alongside that spoiled brat.
普段は虚勢を張ってるけど、今夜はかなりの激論で疲れ切ってる。
He normally loves to bluff, but tonight he's completely tired out from that heated discussion.
誰かに寄りかかりたい気持ちなんでしょうね。
He probably wants someone to lean on at the moment.
それに応えるのがパートナーの役目よ。
And responding that need is the role of his partner.
そりゃお熱いことで。
Sounds passionate.
じゃあ、うちのクソ親父の世話をよろしく頼みますよ。
Then I'll leave that old bastard in your hands.
ええ、任せておいて。
Yes, leave it to me. I called out to Kairi-san's departing back. It must be just like a phrase or maybe like even translation or something, but this is like the third time. Like second time at least tonight, but then I think third time, at least I remember and recall, them always being like, I watched their back as they turn away. And like, it must be just like a phrasing thing. But like if I was to watch someone walk away, I don't look at their back. It's not like I'm looking at the middle of a person. I'm looking like the top of their head probably as they like walk away. Or not looking at them at all. That's also an option. But it always is like, oh, I watched their, I think the phrase earlier was like, I watched their back disappear. And it's like, you watched their back disappear? It's just a very, not even strange, but interesting way of putting like you're watching someone like fade into the distance.
Eh?
Huh?
Nani?
What? Nani?
いや、ありがとよって。
I wanted to say thanks.
おかげで陰鬱な気分がだいぶ晴れたぜ。
Thanks to you, my gloomy mood has cleared up a lot.
ならよかった。
That's good.
コミュニケーションは大事ね。
Communication is important. After answering with a wink, Kairi-san followed after Dad. Alright, and because, as I always do, I love to end on natural, nice feeling breaks whenever I have the opportunity to, I think we'll call it a night. As I said, these weeknight streams, they go quick. They happen frequently. I'm pretty good at streaming throughout the weeks, especially like in the past like year, 2 years, 2.5 years or so. Pretty consistently on the weeknights, but these streams are overall pretty bite-sized. So, but I think overall this will be for the best, especially if I can like, it sounds bad when I say burn through, but if I can get through like an hour or two throughout weeks or during the weeknights, especially with Umineko, I think then that'll make like the potential bigger, longer, long-form weekend streams of Umineko even better. And we actually will then in theory, potentially, be able to finish this game before the end of the year. That, as of right now, my goal is to just make sure I finish Umineko before the end of the year. And I'm probably not at that pace yet right now. If you look, I think this is stream number 6 of this game. So if you look at that now and see where I started, I'm probably not on pace. But I assume if I get more and more desperate as the year goes on, then we'll see more and more Umineko streams or longer streams, or I'll, do whatever I need to do to adjust. But the goal is to not have this carry over into 2024. I'm saying this on March 13th, 2023. Write it down that I will be done streaming Umineko by the end of the year. That's an Austin guarantee. Thanks so much for watching as always. Again, I always say this, I don't care necessarily really to see my numbers go up on any platform, whether it's Twitch or YouTube. But if you want to watch the streams live, of course you can. Twitch, you can find the Twitch. I believe in you as an internet person. I believe you can find my Twitch. If you need a hint, it's in the description of every YouTube video archive I've made on YouTube. So if you want to be a part of the live streams, so be it. If you don't, if you just want to watch on YouTube, which is why I do it, because it's easier to consume VODs on YouTube after the fact. Continue to use that as well. It goes into my whole philosophy that I mainly look at the VODs on YouTube to be the main thing that I do. It's just that I record and like stream live anyway. Like I play whatever. I don't need to get into that whole song and dance right now. Have a great rest of your night. It's only Monday. You still have 4 days to the week. I already feel like I've worked 2.5 days, if I'm being honest. I've got another long week ahead of me in my day job. So give me strength. I should be back tomorrow night. Probably not with Umineko. If I'm really thinking about it, it's probably going to be Disco Elysium. So, obviously subject to change. But it's probably going to be Disco Elysium tomorrow on Tuesday. So, yeah. Have a nice rest of your night. And until tomorrow night. Bye. 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 Bye.